All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, we got a West Coast legend right here, right now on the line. We got the legendary Dazzie Dee of the Lynch Mob Records. How you doing this evening?
Oh man, I'm blessed, man. How you doing, Immortal?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. First and foremost, quickly, I gotta express this before we get into this interview. I grew up on your music, Dazzy, and just thank you for years upon years of amazing hip hop, man. It's an absolute honor to welcome you on my radio station.
Oh, thank you, brother. I appreciate the love, man.
Hey man, you were most certainly welcome. But I gotta ask you, Dazzy, like from the beginning, like what made you decide to get into hip hop?
Oh man, I just fell in love with it, man. Like everybody else, I was young, man. I was about maybe 11, 12 when I first heard my first rap record, man, and just fell in love with it, man.
And also, I as we all know, you know what I mean. You're part of Ice Cube's Lynch Mob Records, but before that, at the young age of 14, I read that you actually first met Dr. Dre, Sir Jinx, and K-Dee. Have to ask you, what was it like meeting those legendary individuals at such a young age?
Well, we was homies first. You know what I'm saying? We was homies first, and then the music started evolving after that. So you figure, man, like me and Jinx, we were like best friends at the time. Me, him, and my boy Rod to a T. We was, those were my best friends at the time. So, as we got older, the music got a little more popular. We got into it, man. We just, we all came together.
And like just being able to be homies with those individuals at such a young age, like what was it kind of surreal to you, or were you just kind of like just so used to it when you were like that young?
Yeah, we were just having fun, man. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those things where we all had a love for it so much that it prompted us. Like I said, me and Jinx, because me and Jinx went to school together ever since um, elementary, and K-Dee and Q, they started going together going to school together like maybe like late junior high. So yeah, so we all knew each other, but that's how we created that bond.
And also, like as what you're actually one of the original members signed to Ice Cube's Lynch Mob Records. Have to ask you, how did that deal come to be for you? And of course, like what was it like actually getting signed to Lynch Mob?
It was dope, man. It was dope. What happened was, me and Jinx was hanging around Q when Q decided he wanted to leave NWA. So once he made that decision, the game plan started coming together. I didn't even know what was next, to keep it 100 with you. I didn't know what was next. I just know he was going to make the move. And once he made the move, he came over when I was living back in the day in L.A. on 106 and Western. He came by the house and told me the idea. He was like, yeah, man, I'm going to start my own group, and it's going to be called the Lynch Mob, and I want you to be down. I was like, man, I'm with it. Because the very, very first original Lynch Mob members were Sir Jinx, me, Chili Chill, and Yo-Yo. Those were the only members at first, like the very first meeting of trying to get this together. Those was the original people.
And one thing I do gotta ask, and I do want to say my apologies if you've been asked this a lot, but as we like I said, you're Lynch Mob. So when Ice Cube did No Vaseline, were you there actually witnessing that like one of the best diss tracks of all time being created?
Oh, of course, I was right there, front and center. Because we was working, and actually he wasn't even going to do the record at first. You know what I'm saying? He was just working. He was just busy working on the album, and then a lot of stuff started happening between there, and then he started hearing stuff, and then I think that's when he heard the Benedict Arnold line, and he just said, "Hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go in." So Jinx and Pooh and everybody, we all got together, man, and made it happen.
And is that actually true that Ice Cube actually just freestyled that entire song, or was that just fabricated actually in the movie?
Yeah, that was more fabricated. Q never really been a freestyler, man. He's always been, he's a great pensman. So yeah, that was a little, they put a little extras on that.
But I do have to say, in my personal opinion, there, Dazzy, that is, in my opinion, that is right up there with Tupac's "Hit 'Em Up," man. Like that song, he most definitely rips NWA to shreds.
Yeah, actually, it's tough to me, man, to keep it 100. It's probably the best diss track I've ever heard. You know what I'm saying? Just from the emotion
Yeah, I'm gonna say he most definitely won that. I don't think even if NWA would have came together and yeah and did something like a complete full diss track, I really don't think they would have ever topped that.
Nah, they couldn't, man, because they wouldn't have, they didn't have that much personal information on Cube like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it hit home with them. You know what I'm saying? Like it was more than I rap better than you. My skills are tighter than you. Like like he really used reality to make that song, and they had to face their own reality, man, when they heard that record. So yeah, there was no coming back from that. That's why you never heard it like this record after that.
And I do have to say quickly, just based on No Vaseline, that I do have to say to Ice Cube's credit, like during his first album, he didn't say anything about NWA. He moved on, and then they came back and dissed him. So you know what, you bite the lion, you best to expect to get bit.
Exactly. That was the whole point. And like I said, even when he was working on Death Certificate, he didn't even have any ideas of this. Like he didn't want this. He wanted to just keep moving. He wanted to keep pushing. But like I said, once the words start coming back and the feedback and little this here and there, yeah, he just went there, man.
And one thing I also read about as well is back in the day, Priority Records, they didn't have any security or anything like that. Like actually, you can just walk right in and free range the record label. But Ice Cube went in, from what I heard, and like just kind of trashed the office up a little bit. Were you actually there for that as well? When the individual wouldn't give him his money, so he like messed up his office.
I mean, I wasn't there at the actual office, but I knew when it was going down, and I knew why it was going down, and I knew who it was for. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I definitely understand why. You know what I'm saying? It was legit. He had legit reason.
And also, man, I have to ask you, like, do you think like down the line, Lynch Mob might get back together for like a reunion or anything like that?
And we tried a few times over the years, schedules, and I was doing my thing, and then JD went to jail, and then everybody kind of started doing their own thing. But we tried a few times. We actually recorded a song maybe about a year ago. That's dope. I don't know what's gonna happen with it, but yeah, So yeah, we still keep in touch. We still do what we do.
And also, you're a member of the supergroup called California, the California organization. I have to ask you, tell us a bit more about that, and how did that come to be? Because I know like that the California organization album was absolutely phenomenal, man. It was a super record.
Yeah, man. That's Chill, man. Chill, man. Chill. I just talked to Chill yesterday. That's funny. Yeah, Chill is a cold brother, man. That dude is amazing, man. But yeah, what happened with that was, I was just coming off my album, finishing Where's My Receipt, and I asked him to come get on that. So he returned to love. So he hit me one day and was like, man, come up here and record. I need you to get on this song. And I was like, man, it's nothing. So I went up there and we made it happen.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, SCC was a part of that as well, man. Like, I just think, like, that group was just phenomenal. I have to say, I wish there was more than one record, because that was an absolute slapper.
Yeah, Chill definitely deserved another record with that, man. I mean, like I say, him and his bros, they put that record together, man, and made it happen. It's a dope album.
And also, in the year 95, as you mentioned like a few moments ago, you released your first solo album entitled Where's My Receipt on Capitol Records. I have to ask you, what's the story behind that album? And I also noticed that you have some hard copies that you're currently selling. I saw a billboard picture on your Instagram.
Yeah. Well, what happened was, it was crazy how it happened because I was basically working. I was supposed to sign. I was producer for Straight G at the time. I produced like half his album. Me and my bro, Click Payback Says. We produced his album, and he knew a couple people over at Capitol, so he took me up to Capitol, and I was working on demos. I had like maybe a few songs that I had produced, and even the one with Ice Cube, I had already had that done. So I went up to Capitol
And also, that was actually next on my list as well DJ Battlecat. Like the following year, you dropped the album The Rebirth, which was actually produced by DJ Battlecat. I have to ask you, how did you and Battlecat get connected? And of course, what was it like working with him? Because he is a phenomenal producer and DJ.
Well, you know, Cat is a South Central cat like me. You know what I'm saying? So us both growing up in South Central, you know, we knew of each other. You know what I'm saying? We was homies, we was friends. So he was just coming off the Domino album, which those two singles was monsters. And then he had started working on this album. And then that's when he called me and asked me to come get down on that album. And it just snowballed from there, bro. Like after that, I told him to come produce my album. And actually, he produced Where's My Receipt. He produced the entire Where's My Receipt. But then we did Rebirth. And then I added a few more producers. My boy Rashad, Boogie Man, and Clint Payback Stands, and a few other cats. And I think I produced a few on there as well. So, you know, the Rebirth was just a little bit different. But yeah, definitely he made his name for Where's My Receipt. Because if it wasn't for Where's My Receipt, I'm going to keep it 100, Dub. When I heard a few things, because I was playing with Dub. When I finished the album, I wouldn't play Where's My Receipt for Dub. Then a few weeks later, he had tagged hooked up. And that's when he came up with his first single, that Dub, 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 Dub. That was so it just all snowballed, bro.
And I do want to say this, though, you know what I mean? And I want to let all the listeners know, my personal opinion, DJ Battlecat is absolutely underrated, man. He deserves so much more praise than what he is getting within the music industry. He has created so many amazing records and singles, man. I really do think he deserves much more praise than what he's getting.
Yeah, man. But you know, Cat, one thing about Cat is, Cat, like, it's hard to explain, but Cat loves pureness. Cat loves the essence of something. So, you know, a lot of times that essence is more of a street vibe or more of a street record. Like, Cat hasn't produced a lot of, you know, radio or mainstream records. But as far as his name and his legacy for what he do and what he has done, oh yeah, he definitely deserves the title legend.
And also, aside from, like, you know, you being an artist, you also have worked on producing as well for individuals like Straight G, Sugar Free. But one that I've also noticed as well, you did technical and mixes for, was Spice One's The Black Bossolini, also known as Dr. Bomb from the Bay. I have to ask you, what was it like being in the studio and helping to create one of the biggest and most famous Spice One records of all time?
Oh, man, it was dope. It was actually dope. But what happened was how that worked out. I didn't go to the Bay to produce that record. I actually didn't really produce it. I co-produced it with Clinton Payback Stands. Clinton Payback Stands came to the house, and he was like, "Bro, I need to work on this record, Spice One," and he came to my studio to do it. So, you know, we kind of collabed, but that was basically a lot. You know, I owe Payback Stands for even getting that credit for that record. But yeah, he did that, made it happen, man. And like you said, it was a legend.
And also, I have to ask you, like, what made you decide to get into producing? Well, like, what, did it just sort of happen, or like, was it something that you wanted to do for a while?
Yeah, I just started, man. I started watching Jinx and watching Dre, you know, watching them do it, man. And, you know, when they was taking breaks, I would jump on Jinx drum machine and mess around, learn how to sample and just mess around. You know, I'm from that era, man. I'm from that era where you get everything in hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? You just wasn't really a one-trick pony when it came to hip-hop. You know, you rap, you DJs, you know, hell, you could sing a little bit, you could dance, you could, you know, I just came from that era. So DJing and making, because actually that was my very first gig. Speaking of that, my very first gig I ever did with Ice Cube, K-Dee, and Jinx, I was their DJ for CIA. That's how I got into the limelight. I was actually their DJ. So, you know, DJing and producing, man, that was nothing for me.
And also, like, I have to ask you, when we just brought up the CIA, like, what was that experience like being a DJ for CIA, man? Because that's actually phenomenal.
It was crazy. You know, just upbeat kids and Jinx, it kind of got, I'm gonna keep it 100. He kind of got the limelight, kind of got bit by the limelight bug as far as wanting to be a rapper and wanting to be out on front of the stage. So, you know, he was like, yo, you know, I got a little verse in the song, so I'm not gonna be back here on these turntables. I'm gonna be on the stage with y'all. So they needed the DJ. So they reached out to me. It was like, why don't you come DJ? But same thing with Quick. That's what happened with Quick. You know, I DJ for Quick. I DJ Quick, tour DJ for like maybe 2 years.
know, being on tour with DJ Quick must have been a phenomenal experience, man. Because DJ Quick is another legend within the music industry.
Yeah, yeah. Quick is another legend, man. He's definitely up there.
And also, jumping ahead of like the timeline a little bit, in 2018 you actually did a song with your daughter Chocolate called "Rep the West." I have to ask you, what was it like working with your own flesh and blood? And of course, like, where can our individuals actually buy or stream themselves a copy of that single?
Oh man, it was a blessing, man. What happened was I was gonna do the record, and I was messing around, and my daughter, she came back there. That's funny because she was actually 6 at the time. Like, we actually shot the video when she was a 9, but she actually did the vocals. She actually went in the studio and cut her vocals at 6 years old, and it was crazy because I was a little nervous at first, and I was just playing around to see if she was gonna be shy. And I was like, try this, and then she stepped into the mic. She was on beat. She had a little flow swag to her, so we kept it there, and I mean, the rest is history.
And I have to say, that's actually really cool, you know what I mean? She's most definitely taken after her dad with that one.
Yeah, man, it was funny, man. It was real funny, and it was just amazing at the same time just how much she shocked. Because, like sometimes, you kind of try to see your kids as individuals, and then every once in a while they'll do something to remind you of you. And that was my moment. I was like, wow. But yeah, if anybody want to buy the record, man, it's on vinyl. They can hit me up. I sell vinyl on the side. I got where my receipts still. I got a few copies of everything. They can just hit me up on Instagram.
And also, the one thing I've always wanted to know, because I know you were formerly known as Big Sax, I have to ask you, like, what made you decide to change your name to Dazzie Dee?
Well, what happened was I was doing a lot of music with my rapping, and I kind of just got to the point where I was like, well, let me switch up a little bit. Like, I make beats, I love making music. Let me approach it from that point, and I just want the name to change as well. I was like, okay, I want people to like what they like because of the music. I didn't want them to be like, oh, Dazzy Dee did. I mean, eventually got there, but at first it was kind of fun to hear. Damn, who was Big Sax? Who did that Mossberg? Who did that Sugar Free? Who was Big Sax? Yeah, so yeah, it was dope, man. It was fun.
Like, were you ever at, like, release parties just kind of sitting there, like, chilling or something, and you heard people go, yo, who is Big Sax? Like, did you actually hear that out on the street? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and if so, like, what was your feeling when you heard that?
It was lovely, man, because it was actually from the work. You know what I'm saying? So, to sit down, I mean, I was getting calls. I even got calls from people going, hey, Daddy, man, who's Big Sax? So, man, you know what I'm saying? I would just laugh and be like, I mean, it wasn't meant to be a secret. It was just meant to just see how far things can go. And, so once that happened, then, of course, I started letting people know, and everybody, Quick and them started talking, and everybody, so yeah, it got out there.
So, let me ask, when your homies started calling you, like, did you kind of like just string them along a little bit and be like, yo, man, yeah, he's dope, and hang it up, or did you actually let them know, like, yo, like, I'm actually Big Sax, man?
Yeah, I told them off the top, man. I didn't want to, lie to them or make, even though it was all fun, I didn't want to do that, because I did that one time. It was funny. Me and K-Dee, I had some K-Dee vinyl. I think I was selling it to Big Sax on eBay. He called me one day. He was like, hey, man, somebody's selling my vinyl on eBay, and this sounded great. I was like, damn, for real? He was like, yeah, let me call you back. I'm like, and then he called me back. He was like, man, why did I say Big Sax? He was like, man, you selling my shit? I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, my bad, dog. I forgot to tell you.
Busted. But also, as we were talking when we were setting up this interview, you were telling me about how you were a videographer and you actually like film music videos and film videos for people. I have to ask you, tell our listeners a little bit more about why you got into that, and of course, how can they contact you for your services? That way, they can get their music video or maybe a special event filmed by the legendary Dazzie Dee.
Okay, of course. Yeah, I just got it. It was just another phase of creating. Actually, it's funny because I had no desire. To be a director and videographer, but what happened was a few things happened with the Rep the West video with my daughter, so it made me kind of step up and go, okay, let me kind of get this done. So, man, once I grabbed my first camera, man,
also, I saw that you actually have a brand new production credit actually out. I noticed that on Instagram as well. If you can you tell our listeners a bit more about that and like, where can they actually check out that project?
Which one? I'm sorry, which project?
It's the one you just announced. I saw it on Instagram briefly before you end up calling in for the interview.
Yeah, well, actually, we're still ironing it out as far as the Chill project. We're still ironing it out. We're gonna get together soon and really write it out because I got some big things for it. Like I really want to. I don't want to get like like just a music video. Man, I want to actually make it like a short film type thing where because one thing about being a videographer, man, it's not too many street cats. You know what I'm saying? It's not too many cats that shoot videos. So to sit there with Chill and actually get his constant perspective and get my LA and hood perspective, man, we're gonna make something monstrous, man.
And I do want to say my apologies. It's actually called Pyrex. It's actually in the bio of your Instagram. I have to ask you, what was it like actually doing Pyrex?
Pyrex was it was one of those things, man, where I wanted to shoot, and I had time on my hands, and I was like, you know what? Instead of just working with an artist, I'm gonna work on my own stuff. So I reached out to a few cats. I reached out to a rapper named Cali from Compton, and I reached out to Dale Poeta. He's dope. And I was like, man, let's do this record. So we messed around, got to get the record, man. The record came out so dope. And I shot it. This was me.
And so when individuals, they want to reach out to you to get some production, do they hit you up via Instagram, or like is there a certain email they have to contact?
Instagram, man. Instagram or Facebook, all social media. So I'm on both social media. They can just hit me up, say Google or search Dazzie Dee or Big Dad. That's for my Instagram for my videography. It's Big Dad. It's spelled with 5 Z's. So it's BIGDAZZZZ. And they can just reach out, man, and make it happen.
And I want to say, Dazzy, what's next for you? Other than the videography, is there any other projects? Anything else you want to promote? Will we still have you here live on the radio?
Oh, and now I'm still doing this video thing, man. It's getting big. You know what I'm saying? It's getting big. I got some work coming. I've done some good work. I got a lot of good things. Me and my boy to a team. Actually, then my production company is G-Scope Productions. So, we got some good things coming, man. Slag Dog, he's part of my team. Lazy Latino, he's part of my team. So, we got some good things coming, man, like visual-wise. So just get ready for the visual because it's going down.
And so, Dazzy, this is the time in the interview before I wrap things up. This is the time where I let the individual that comes on the station give shout-outs to whomever they want to give shout-outs to, and also your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and also contact you for your videography if they're not already doing so.
Oh, man, I appreciate the love, man. Yeah, I just want to give a shout-out to my team. You know what I'm saying? To a team. Slag Dog, producer, man. Producer extraordinaire. This dude is dope. My bro, Lazy Latino, you know what I'm saying? That's my squad, man. You know what I'm saying? We've been doing this for a long time, man. Like, I got to get credit to them because, they've been pushing me all these years. They're my dudes. Facebook-wise, man, it's just Dazzie Dee, Vapor Valley. That's on my personal page. You know what I'm saying? It's Dazzie Vapor Valley. Like Machiavelli, like my best friend, rest in peace, Tupac. And then my Instagram is BIGDAZZZZ. Or my Dazzie Dee. I'm kind of there, but that's basically more for networking a little bit. So that's, you can just Dazzie_D. And I'm there, man. I'm there. I ain't running hard. You get at me, you want to get at me.
And I gotta say, Dazzy, one last time, just thank you so much for the years of amazing hip-hop and everything you did for the culture, man. I personally have been a big fan, like I said, for many, many years, so the fact that you just gave me 20 minutes of your time and came on my platform, it truthfully is an absolute honor, and I hope down the line we can make this happen again. But for now, thank you so much again, Dazzy, and I hope you stay safe out there during this terrible pandemic.
Yeah, you too, brother. I hope you stay well and safe as well, man. And to everybody listening, much love and stay safe out there, man. And let's just keep creating. All my creators, let's keep creating.
Most definitely, Dazzy. Thank you so much again, and have yourself a wonderful night.
All right, brother. Have a blessing.
You as well.